Hey, Stampin' friends, it's Judy Klock here at Stampin' with Crafty Klock, coming to you for another little live demo. And tonight we're continuing our whole Christmas craft fair prep and just getting ready to make Christmas cards to send out to my families and friends. So today I'm playing with the Window Wishes bundle. This is in the mini catalog, the July to December mini catalog, and it's got this great little stamp set. It's got little scenes, a little house, and trees and candles, but it's got these really beautiful die cuts that will not only match, ooh, they're sticking. So we'll cut out like the holly or the leaf branch. We've got the wreath cut out. We can cut out the house and the car and the candles and some trees, but we can also make, a window frame. And you're going to see how really pretty that looks in just a little bit. So let's go ahead and jump in. Now, this one was a little bit of a challenge for simple stamping because there are so many beautiful dies in here that can really jazz up your card. So I really had to play with this. So for simple stamping, we're just going to create sort of like an oval wreath, I guess, by using that, what are they called? Like the garland. That's right. I couldn't think of that word. The garland, like the green garland, and just stamping that twice by rotating our paper. And then we're just going to add that cute little car and the tree. They're all ready to go home and decorate their Christmas tree. And then we're going to step it up and we're going to use, and I dropped my ink pad on this and I'm so sad, but don't pay attention to that. I was closing it and it flew out of my hands and it ruined my card. But anyway, this is what we're going to do with those gorgeous die cuts. So we can cut out a whole window scene where we're looking out to the night. We've got the candles burning. We've got a nice little wreath. And then we're just going to continue that on the inside and we're just going to decorate that. So I'm so sad that I did that, but that's what happens when you're in a hurry and you're not paying attention. All right, so for our simple stamping card, we are going to use a piece of thick basic white as our base. It's 8.5 by 5.5. I've just scored that at 4 1/4. I'm going to use my bone folder to get a nice crisp crease in it. Then I've got a piece of our evening evergreen that is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I've got another piece of our basic white that is 5 by 3 3/4. Now you can use any color to back this. You can use a red, you can use a blue, you can use whatever color you want. I chose to use the evening evergreen just because I like green. So, and it's my card, so I could do it. Just like you can do whatever color you want. So for this one, we are going to use our Stamparatus because we're going to want to flip this piece of paper around. So I already know from having done my sample where I have to put it. So I'm going to put this on the marks that I know I need to put it on so I can get it. It's the same size as my sample. So I just paid attention to where I put it. And I'm going to take our evening evergreen and I've already got, let me just take this out. You can see it. I've already got our garland stamp on there. So I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of ink it up. All right. I love doing the Stamparatus for things like this. All right. So now we're going to stamp it just once like that. Okay. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to take this paper and I'm going to flip it, keeping it on the same marks that I had it on for the top. And I measured on the top and the right. So I know where my top and my right go. All right. I'm going to ink up that garland stamp again. And I'm going to stamp it down again. Now it's in the center. It's going to sort of overlap, and that's okay. So it's going to look a little bit wonky in there, but I think that's not too detrimental. I think we're okay. And then I wanted to stamp our car. So I did put this one on the Stamparatus, even though it was a small stamp. I did put it there because I wanted to make sure that I knew I would have enough room for my sentiment and my tree. So that's why I used the Stamparatus. Now this one I'm using Starry Sky. I don't know why. I just thought a station wagon should be blue. Could have made it any color I wanted, but I wanted to do blue. All right. So I'm just going to stamp my car. All right. then I'm just going to leave this on the Stamparatus. We've got just a little bit more stamping to do. We're going to stamp our sentiment right under the car in our real red. And again, you can use whatever colors you choose, but I'm just going to stamp that right under there. And then I have to confess that we have these little wheels here. When I first opened up the stamp and I saw these two things, I'm like, what in heaven's name is that? I'm like, I couldn't figure out where it went. And then I finally looked at the car stamp and I'm like, oh, those are the tires. So you see, thank you, Nikki. Hi, Nikki. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. So my apologies. Okay. And there are my wheels. Not too bad. Pretty good for eyeballing it. So if you're wondering what that little stamp is, those are the wheels to your car. I couldn't believe it took me forever to figure out. Then I've got another little, the tree that's going to go on the top. So I'm just going to stamp this. And you can do this in any color. I'm just going to keep it in the evening evergreen. We're just going to keep it in the same color family. So you really don't need too many different colors here. And, you could have done this, the sentiment in the same color too. I'm just going to put this right on the roof of the car. And there we go. And that's all the stamping that we're doing for this simple stamping card. That's it. So we're just going to go ahead now and move our Stamparatus out of the way because we don't need this again tonight. All right. And then we're going to go. Now we're just ready to assemble the card. So it doesn't matter if you put the evening evergreen on first and then put this on, or if you layer these two together and then put them on. Some people always ask, does it matter? No, however you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and just put the evening evergreen layer on. I'm going to be judicious because I'm running out of seal. So I'm just going to use a little bit on each side because I have to get my refills are coming, but they haven't arrived yet. So I'm using it sparingly. Okay, so we're going to do that. And then we're just going to add a little touch of bling. I've got these red rhinestones, and we're just going to go ahead and put on, however many you want. You can go all the way around. You can do half and half. You can do halfway down. There's really no right or wrong way to putting these on. It's really just however you feel you want to do it. And that's what we're doing. So I'm just going to go, and that's it. We're just going to put 5 on there. We're going to go like maybe a third of the way down. And that's our simple stamping card. So really we didn't use anything other than stamps, inks, and paper. And we just added a little bit of bling with those real red rhinestones or red rhinestone jewels. So that's simple stamping. Now we're going to go and we're going to really get a little crazy. And we're going to do a lot of die cuts. Don't throw your ink pad on your card. That would be bad. You don't want to do that. And as a matter of fact, let me close up the ink pads that I am no longer using. Let me move things out of harm's way. I am a mess tonight. Okay, so now we're going to go and do some stamping. So we're starting with the base of Sweet Sorbet. It is, again, standard 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of basic white for the inside. That's 4 by 5 1/4. I have a piece of the Sweetest Christmas DSP, and this is one of the Sweet Sorbet sides. This is 4.5 by 3.5. Okay. Then I have a piece of basic white that is 3 by 4 1/4. And that's going to be what we're going to put our window elements on. But let's go ahead and do some stamping. I have some. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to stamp. I need my Stampin' Pierce mat. We're going to stamp the candles in, this is Pool Party. I just thought like that worked. All right. So I'm just going to stamp that. And again, there's not too much stamping on here. Then we're going to stamp a wreath. We're going to use our garden green. And we're going to stamp that. It's like greenery, just leaves of greenery. I guess you could do it in red or green. I chose to go with the green. That doesn't look like it's stamped up very well. Okay, so we've got that. And we're going to die cut these, but we still want to stamp on our sentiment. And I don't know what happened to my little piece. I'll find that in a minute. I had another little piece of, I put it somewhere. All right. Now on the inside, I'm going to stamp these little double trees. Just thought they were cute on the inside. Okay. Can't see that. Let me move that up. So I just stamped those right there in the corner. And then I'm going to stamp in our sweet sorbet. On the outside, it's going to say Merry Wishes. And on the inside, we're going to say, oh, there's my little piece of paper, for lots of joy at Christmas. So that's going to be our inside sentiment. All right. And then for outside, we're going to, we're going to cut this. We're going to stamp just Merry Wishes. Okay. So now we've got that. All right. Actually, I don't like the way that looks. I'm going to flip that over. I didn't like that side. See, paper has two sides. So if you don't like something, you can just flip it over and do it again. All right. Now this, I'm just going to trim with the paper snips. I'm just going to cut this off. I didn't know how much I would need, so I'm just going to cut that off. We're going to put that aside for now. All right. I can get rid of this because we don't need that. Our stamping is done. So now we want to do the die cuts for these. So there is the one for the candle is obviously very straightforward. You just line it up and we cut it. The one for the wreath, you have to play with it because I did it first. I just threw it on there and cut it. And I said, oh, that's fine, but it wasn't fine. So there is there's like little notches, like this little notch right here, kind of opposite this big notch. This little notch will fit one of those little divots. So I just kind of turned it around until I found where that little notch worked best. And I think that's not it. Okay, I think that's it. No, maybe not. I don't know. Of course, I had it earlier, and now there it is. I think that's it. Okay. So that will line up fairly well so that when you run it through, it will cut it out. And this obviously is a pretty straightforward die cut. Just put it over the stamped image. You don't really have to worry about lining up the notches. But if you line it up correctly, when you cut it, it will cut it perfectly. The first time I did it, when I didn't have it lined up correctly, it just kind of cut off some of these taller berries. So there definitely is a right way to do it. Then we cut out the okay, I think these are the candles. And then there's another little die cut for the candle flames. And this is great because these are going to go right there. So they're going to just peek right up. So you have lots of space to go ahead and put some adhesive to make those stick. And there is no stamp for the candle flame. So this is just a die cut. So if you want to use the candle flames, you just have to die cut them. There's nothing to stamp. Now for the window, this is what's really cool. Well, let me show you those dies, and everything keeps getting stuck because I don't put it back on the right side. Okay. So for the windows, there's actually a set of 3 that we're going to use. 2, 3. So these, we want to put this one, and then we're going to put this one inside of it. Okay. And we're just going to line it up. So you want it to be somewhat straight. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to be a little bit straight. And then this last one, pardon me, of course I dropped it on the floor. This last one we're just going to put there. That's going to be like the windowsill or the sash or whatever you want to call it. So we're going to roll those through. And when we roll them through, we actually end up with a whole bunch of pieces. So this piece will make this. Now, if you want to get this solid piece, you just use this piece by itself, and that will give you this piece. And this piece will obviously fit in perfectly in our die cut. Now, if you want to get like the window with like the window panes, that's when you use both of these. And then as you cut them, you'll get this little extra square that you can use. And then these 4 little squares, these I just threw out, but these I saved this big square, because you never know, you could use that for another project. And then this is just the little sash piece that just cuts this out. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started putting this one together. And you'll see I already have my silicone mat down because we're going to be using liquid glue. I also cut out, there's also this cute little bow. Again, there's no stamp for this one, but I did cut this out. But before I cut it out, I backed my cardstock with an adhesive sheet. So this is going to be very easy to then stick down to our card. We don't have to worry about trying to get glue on those really skinny little ribbons for the bow. Okay, so let me move that out of our way. Okay. I'm sorry that my chair keeps squeaking. I do apologize. It's somewhat annoying. All right, let's go ahead and get started assembling our card. So let's go ahead and put our inside piece right in there. And again, you don't have to do this white piece. I like it. It's just something that I like to do. I think it gives the card a finished look. I know many people don't. Again, it's a personal preference. There's really no right way or wrong way to create. There's a right way and a wrong way to use our tools. But in terms of creation, there's no right way or wrong way. So this I'm just going to turn on an angle, and I'm going to turn it so that it doesn't overhang the edges too badly. So it's 4.5 by 3.5. So it's a little bit big, but we're just going to make sure that we put it on there in such a way that we have a minimal overhang as possible. All right, so I got a little bit there. And you could always just go with a scissor and just like trim that off if you wanted to. Now we've got a piece here of our white. I'm just going to put this on kind of straight because our windows shouldn't be crooked. If they're crooked, and then we're going to be looking at it like, what? What happened? All right, so we're going to put this down now. Now let's get our window together. Okay, so I've got here, I think I used Sahara sand for like the wood, like the frame around the window. I'm looking for my liquid glue. It's literally right in front of me. What happens when I lose my mind? It's 1:21 a.m. and your eyes want to close. Oh my goodness. You're such a brave soul for being here. You can watch it on replay. I hope that you go to bed and you have a wonderful night's sleep. But thank you so much for joining me for a little bit. I do love it when all my friends hop on and tell me where they're from. And okay, so now we've got that. Now, got a little glue in there. This other piece that I cut out, I'm going to stick right in the middle because I wanted it to look like we were looking out into like kind of a night sky. So I'm going to just add some glue here. And then I have a blue frame floating around somewhere that I could use for another project. Okay, so now we've got that. Then we've got this little tiny sash that we're going to put on the bottom. And again, had I thought ahead, I could have put adhesive sheets on here, but I, as usual, was rushing around like a lunatic today, and I didn't think. So we're just going to put that right under there. Move it over just a little bit. Okay. That's almost as wide as my whole white piece. So there's not that much there. Now, we're going to put our inside piece on. So this is going to fit, again, right inside to give us that window look and give us that nighttime look like we're inside looking out. So again, I really need like a fine tip glue pen. Mine is all clogged and I need to get it unclogged. Or I could have actually put the adhesive sheets on the back of this. But okay. So we're just going to like put that insert right there. But I do like the liquid glue because it just gives you that little bit of extra time to kind of make sure that everything is in place. Okay. All right. So that's looking good. So our window, we're building our window, right? Our window's starting to look good. All right, let's go ahead and let's add the flame to our candle. So I'm just going to put some glue on here. And I do love this because we have enough We don't really have to worry about putting anything on there. Just center it in the middle of our candle. All right, now I'm going to add these right down here to our sill. Oops, it's sticking to my finger. There we go. Let's move that over just a bit. All right. We're going to add our little wreath at the top of our window. We're going to decorate the top of our window. Okay, I'm done with my glue, so let me put this away. Right now, because I have the adhesive backing on here, we're good to go. I'm just going to pull that covering off. Got an extra little piece right there. I don't know why that didn't come off. Sometimes this just doesn't want to come off. Okay, there we go. And we're going to put that kind of right at the top of our wreath. You can put it at the top of the wreath, at the bottom of the wreath, wherever you want. I'm going to use some mini Stampin' Dimensionals for this. I'm going to put this right on the front. And now I did use the Sweet Sorbet cardstock. Let's put that right there. And I'm going to use the red rhinestones. It's a little bit brighter than our Sweet Sorbet, but I figured we could get away with it. So, because you don't really have anything in Sweet Sorbet, and I didn't want to use like the white pearls or something. So I figured, well, we'll just use these. And that is our card for our avid or our what I like to call our super stampers, the people that have been doing it for a while and have all the tools and are just looking for new ideas and new techniques. So that's it. Those are our two cards. We have a simple stamping card where we just used our stamps, inks, and paper and a little bit of bling. And then we stepped it up and we did really like almost the whole card is almost all die cuts. Ooh, excuse me. And that's it for tonight. So do be sure to check out I'm working on my website and improving it. Do check out stampingwithcraftyclock.com and let me know what you think. And coming October 1st, starting October 1st with the new Stampin' Up! Year, I will be introducing a frequent buyers program. So when you shop with me, you'll be rewarded. After when you collect like 10 Foxy points, as I call them, you'll be eligible for a $50 shopping spree. So do check that out. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment on the site. And I will see you all next week. You all have a great weekend. Get some sleep and have a good evening. Bye now.